Welcome to Oilers Nation Every Day with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
If we would have just waited 6 minutes longer, we would have gotten the full return. Mark Spector breaking the news, but welcome back into a special Oilers Nation Every Day full trade reaction episode. Since you got our initial trade reaction in the first episode of the show, we're back to give you a fresh one. Connor Murphy is an Edmonton Oiler. It is a second-round pick and nothing else, and the Oilers are getting him at 50% retained. Liam, your initial grade.
Oh, grade. Geez. Probably, I guess, B?
B+.
B+, sure.
Didn't give up a first, got a good player, got him retained, still have your first round. It was a 2028 first-round pick, apparently. That's going out the door.
So a few years away.
Yeah.
I like the deal. I think this is, well, before we went off air 10 minutes ago, I kind of thought it would only be around a second-round pick, maybe a late-round pick added in there as well. $2.2 million, I would say, I think is left on Connor Murphy's contract after the retention. You seem to understand how that's going to work more than I do. But, yeah, I think a good trade for Edmonton. They needed someone like Connor Murphy to quiet things down a little bit, to be honest, on the back end when he's out on the ice. Been a little bit too chaotic here in Edmonton for, honestly, the entire season. So I don't think he's going to change everything. But it'll certainly help.
So let me walk you through the order in which this was all done.
Okay.
Mangiapane down, Regula down. They have now, since they officially recalled Howard and Szymanski, they have locked in the salary capture of them being $950,000 and $975,000, and they don't have the bonus issue once Janmark gets put on LTIR. Okay?
This is what I thought you were going to say. Continue.
So with Janmark now on LTIR, the Oilers have $1.45 million available to spend. To fit in Connor Murphy, $2.2 million. So how do you get that little bit of money? You
Send someone down.
You send Ike Howard, and I believe it will be Ike Howard. You send Ike Howard down to the minors, and you are good to go. The money is dead even. And with that, you have 7 defensemen on your roster and 12 forwards, which is, I think, the number they're going to aim to do for the rest of the year here. So, yeah, the Edmonton Oilers, that's a pretty simple way to explain it. Ike Howard will simply go right back down to Bakersfield, or he'll probably never come up, or he was probably never even on his way up. And they're going to have 12 forwards and 7 defensemen on their roster. Connor Murphy will be one of those 7, and they will be perfectly cap compliant.
Nice.
Easy.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yep.
I probably should have just assumed that's what they were going to do. I would expect Howard is the one that goes down because Szymanski's a better defensive player.
And he's a center, and we've kind of heard, like, Bowman talk today. Gregor had some tweets about how Bowman said they like him. Gregor's reporting that they might give Szymanski a bit of a longer look. So, like, all of those things. I think you'll see Szymanski stick over Ike Howard. Lance dropped in a super chat, said that goes back to my conspiracy theory that Canadian GMs are going to do whatever they can to get McDavid a cup and a Canadian team a cup after that gold medal game. I mean,
I'm in.
Yeah, sure. I'm in, Lance, 100%. This makes the Oilers better. I think it's as simple as that. And they didn't give up an A-plus asset to do it. Like, you didn't give up a first. You didn't give up any prospects. That's kind of a win. There's nothing off your roster that had to be subtracted. There's just a whole bunch of reasons, I think, to really like this deal. I know we kind of gave our thoughts on the player in the earlier episode of this, but just knowing that it's a second and he's retained and they didn't do something crazy like go to a first-round pick because they want Mangiapane done. They just saw a good player. It was a reasonable cost to acquire him, so they did the deal. And I like that line of thinking from Stan Bowman.
Currently, this trade goes down in the win column for me if we were going back to our previous show. Puckpedia also tweeting out an extension of what you were saying. They said, expect this trade to be completed after 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which would be in 40 minutes here, 3 p.m., which is officially tomorrow for cap purposes. That would allow them to send down one of the players down called today, Szymanski or Howard, to have the cap space needed for this trade.
So, again, once Szymanski or Howard, we're assuming Howard goes down, and Murphy's added to the roster, they are dead on cap compliant. They, I think, would have like $150,000 in wiggle room or whatever. And if you're wondering, well, how can they make some moves going forward? Well, trading away Andrew Mangiapane would clear up about $2.45 million of that deal, or of cap space, because right now he's buried. So he isn't his full cap hit. So trading Mangiapane away would free up about 2.45, or if it was a deal where, like, I mean, any forward comes in and you just put Szymanski down, that gives you $975,000 in wiggle room. So
Bobby McMahon money.
Yeah, like as long as you are, and I think this is probably the expectation now. If it's a big swing, it's going to be someone like a Bobby McMahon. If it's a lesser deal, it's going to be someone like a Teddy Bluger, Drew O'Connor, and either one of those guys retained at 50%. Is Drew O'Connor's a little bit more dicey, but Teddy Bluger is a good example. If he's retained at 50%, you just put Szymanski back in the minors and you're cap compliant. So they can basically acquire anyone as long as they are $1 million or less once they're retained, which, again, Bobby McMahon would be. Bobby McMahon, 50% retained would be like $675,000. So
just quickly, because if you didn't see this, watch our show earlier and just watching this now, Alex asked, so why would Howard have been called up today if they're just going to send him down? So it was strictly for cap purposes, and we suspected this at the time. It just makes way more sense now. So they called up Howard and Szymanski after they sent down Mangiapane and Regula because they got Howard and Szymanski on their current deals, which is $975 and $950.
Yeah.
And that was before they put Matthias Janmark on LTIR, which I don't know if they've officially done. Dave Pagnotta said they were going to do it. So they are at that cap now, and they can send them up and down no matter what. Howard and Szymanski will be a $975 and $950. I think they both are. Whatever their damn numbers are, it's around there. So if they had not done that and called them both up, Howard and after they had put up Janmark, so this is a scenario where Janmark is on LTIR, and then they're calling up Howard and Szymanski. Szymanski's contract would be 1.4, and Howard's would be 1.6 for because of their bonuses. So now they avoid all of that, and now they can just send down Howard, and it's basically a paper transaction.
Yep.
So hopefully that explains it.
This one from NHL Sid, who has some encouraging insights into Connor Murphy. Connor Murphy ranks third amongst all defensemen in the NHL this season in Evolving Hockey's defensive wins above replacement model. So analytically, just looking at the defensive side of things, he is one of the best defensive defensemen in the NHL, according to that model. Sid goes on to say, when I was trying to make an in-zone defense model about 3 years back, one player that constantly ranked near the top, no matter what methodology I used, was Murphy. Not amazing at defending entries, but you're not going to find many defensemen better in their own end. I want to reiterate that line. You are not going to find many defensemen better in their own end. Sid adds, don't know if he's a fit with Nurse because his puck-moving abilities are unspectacular, but on paper, he could fit extremely well with Wallman on a second pairing, which ties into something Jason Gregor speculated about over on his Twitter. If you kind of read between the lines, he called it foreshadowing. Wallman was on a pair with Bush today. Maybe you go Ekholm with Murphy and do an all-shutdown pairing, and then Nurse with Emerson is your third pair.
I would do Ekholm Murphy. I think you need to reduce Nurse's minutes. I think if you put him next to Ty Emerson, then you're kind of saying that, I would suggest. This is how I suspect they will go. A lot of defensive zone starts for Ekholm and Murphy, Wallman and Bouchard. Hopefully you can get a bit more from Wallman. Obviously, what's he have, 3 goals in his last 2 games?
Yeah.
Seeing a bit more from him. Nurse is an anchor on this team. We all know it. We don't need to get into it. Having him outside of the top 4 is a positive and a win for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah. Again, concerns for Murphy would be how he moves the puck and how he defends on zone entries. But if you put him with a defenseman who's good at moving the puck and good at defending zone entries, it probably shouldn't be that much of a hindrance. Mulick asked him, what are his breakout retrieval numbers like? I'm happy with a traditional cycle breaker as long as he can still transition the puck and make effective outlet passes. Sid said he's not a great breakout passer, but his controlled exit percentage and retrieval leading to exit percentage still rank fairly above average in the past 2 seasons. I'll share the exact numbers in an article soon, so look forward to that on Oilersnation.com when Sid gets all his numbers together. But a lot of really smart people, Bruce Kurlock, others, calling this really good work by Stan Bowman, and I agree. You got a player who addresses a key need. You got him retained down so that you still have money to do other things if you need to, and you only had to give up a second-round pick for it. So there you go. This won't be their only move. They will go get a forward at some point. Giddy up.
There's another tweet here from a reporter out of Chicago. I'll say his first name because I can't say his last name.
Charlie Romiliitis. Is it him?
Yes, it is.
I like Charlie. He's good.
He said Connor Murphy deserves all his flowers. He hasn't sniffed the playoffs in his NHL career outside of the bubble, but never once complained about his situation in Chicago. Total pro on and off the ice, plays the right way, defends hard, stands up for his teammates, beloved in the room. Happy for him as he gets a chance to play meaningful hockey for an Edmonton team with Stanley Cup aspirations. I think Brett, the original Bread Man, was in our chat before and said Connor Murphy has 23 career fights. I don't see him as any kind of heavyweight by any means, but people always say they need to be tougher. This is a tougher guy, it looks like.
Shout out to our friends at hockeyfights.com. All right. That is the full deal. W move. A lot of you in the chat were giving it an A when we asked for your grades. Some of you are just excited that there's another Connor coming in. But yeah, a lot of A's, A minuses, B plus. Like it's a really solid deal. Again, this isn't sexy. This isn't flashy. This isn't 2 first-round picks for OEL or anything crazy like that. But here's the other thing I'll say about this, Liam. This is a very responsible trade.
That's a good way to put it.
Like, if you would have went and traded your first for Rasmus Ristolainen and it didn't work, or you don't like the player, you're sitting there in the summer with another bad contract on the books. If you would have traded for OEL and he aged poorly, it stops you from doing other things. Like, this is just a good, clean upgrade at the deadline, and it allows you to reset things in the summer if you need to. The second round pick's not till 2028. I think that's almost done intentionally, because if the Oilers want to shop in the forward market, if you want to go get a Bobby McMahon, if you want to go get a Scott, whoever you want to get, you still have 2 draft picks, a second and a third rounder available in 2026. Yeah. And you have your 2027 first and your 2027 second available as well. So they have draft picks that they could use still to make more upgrades to this team.
I like what Connor said in the chat. He said, we don't need flashy, we need hole pluggers. I think that's fair. And I think Connor Brown fills a good void that was on this
Connor
team.
Murphy.
Connor Brown would also fill a good void left on this team. Left by him, actually. So, yeah, I think everyone should be happy with this trade. Obviously, we need to see the production on the ice as well, but it looks to be a decent move. I like what you said, responsible one from Edmonton and Stan Bowman. Don't be done yet, though.
I agree.
Does Bowman re-sign him? I don't think it's fair to speculate on that yet, but I would suspect that if it goes well, the others would look to re-sign Connor Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll all depend on how it goes, which again is flexibility that they should want to have at this stage of things. He is a very, very good penalty killer. He is the #1 most used penalty killer on the best penalty kill unit in the entire NHL. So that should also help. You are adding a good penalty killer. You're adding a good 5-on-5 defender. He will not put up points. He will not be sexy. But again, this move gets a good thumbs up from me. And now I think and not to ruin, tomorrow's show or anything, they can improve this deadline and make it an A or an A plus.
Yeah.
If they were to somehow land a Ryan O'Reilly, or if they were to go to Toronto and get both Lawton and McMahon or something like that, that's how this could become an A. This could stay a B if they were to go and get a Teddy Bluger type.
Yeah.
I think that's how I read the next 5 days here.
I would agree.
Yep.
I would agree. I'm very curious to see what kind of happens here, to be honest.
We will save that speculation for tomorrow, but wanted to jump.
I also just want to point out, Connor Murphy wore a letter in Chicago.
Well, was
so he's an A. Oh. Wore an A, but he's a leader in the room, I would assume, from that.
Darnell Nurse wears a letter.
Shit.
He's a leader in the community, damn it. He's a leader in the community. But I'm trying to find positive spin zones. Maybe he's a guy that will say what needs to be said in the room, or maybe that's just me wishful thinking.
Trade deadline, yes, is this Friday.
This Friday. Trade deadline show on Daily Faceoff. Jeff Merrick, Carter Hutton, Matt Barnaby, myself, everyone's going to be involved in this bad boy. Deadline show, March 6th, live at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay. That is a wrap on today's little quick update edition of things. We're going to be joined tomorrow, and I am going to actually ask him, because I'm just looking here at his career numbers. I think, I'm 90% sure.
Davey Schlemko?
I was going to say Steve Peters would have been his video coach in Arizona.
Yeah, either one.
So we'll maybe get someone on tomorrow to give us a deep dive on Connor Murphy.
I forgot he played for the Coyotes.
He was a Coyote for 4 seasons, then found his way to Chicago for, what would that be, 8 years?
He was in the, do you know what trade he was part of?
What?
Nicholas Hjalmarsson?
Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
Really? So Stan Bowman would have acquired him, actually,
of
course, when he was the Chicago GM.
Yeah, with Laurent Dauphin for Nick Hjalmarsson.
Whatever.
And now it's a second-round pick. Okay, thank you, everybody. Jason Gregor's still live on the Oilers Nation YouTube, so you can go click onto him. He'll have more insight on this trade. And then tomorrow, we're back, noon Mountain Time. We'll talk to you all then. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.